Next question. Please tell me how to reach the vortex when you are a parent, especially a parent of a newborn, when you have no time for yourself at all, when you can't do what brings you joy as you need to take care of that little person 24/7 with hardly any sleep or food. How can you be a parent and still be selfish? How can you find joy, and how can you be fulfilled if parenting doesn't fulfill you, but you have to do it anyway? You know, I love my boy, 2 years old, and it does get better as they get older. But I'm still struggling as I selfishly prefer to do stuff I like instead of spending time with him, playing or going to parks or stuff that parents normally do. And when he demands my attention, I'm getting very, very irritated. And he can drive me to the point of huge rage, where I end up screaming and saying horrible things to him, even throwing and breaking stuff and pushing him out the door. Please help me understand what's going on and how I can be more patient, understanding, and a loving mother, and how I can enjoy spending time with him more. We want to say to you that you have to get out ahead of it. And you're not going to fully understand what we mean by that, but we're going to start with that statement. And then we want to add another statement to that as well that says, make a decision and then line up with it. And then we also want to remind you that even when you're venting to someone, or as you are here, sincerely asking for solution, each focused statement that you offer activates a vibration within you that then becomes your point of attraction. In other words, you wrote in capital letters here, how can you be a parent and still be selfish? How can you find joy and how can you be fulfilled if parenting doesn't fulfill you, but you have to do it anyway? In other words, that's a strong statement of how you feel. And we want to lovingly say to you, you cannot get to where you want to be directly from there. But it is good to own that you are there. In other words, there's nothing wrong with feeling like you don't have enough time for yourself. That's what your emotions are about. They're to let you know when you're out of whack. You didn't come to be of service to the world or to anyone. Yes, you want to be a mentor and an uplifter, and you certainly want to be a loving provider to your children. All of that is true. But when you get feeling overrun or taken advantage of, when you hang around in resentment mostly, and we are not for a moment saying that your life doesn't give you reason to feel justified in that. We know for sure it does. But we also know something else about you. Your natural way of being is loving. And your unnatural way of being is feeling resentment. But that does not mean that when you feel resentment, you're doing something wrong. We talked in the previous segment about how, I'm going to go back to that page. Previous person said, good girls aren't supposed to feel anger or jealousy or frustration. And you might be thinking, a good mother isn't supposed to feel impatient or rage. A good mother isn't supposed to scream and say horrible things and so forth. But don't let this be an indictment on whether you are a good mother or not, because we want you to hear this for sure. If you weren't or aren't a good mother, you would not feel any pain about those behaviors. If your desire was not to be uplifting, and it is, if you did not have a desire to be a patient and loving mother, but you do, then you would not feel these strong negative emotions. So give yourself a break, first of all, by acknowledging that you've got a point of attraction going on, a co-creation with your 2-year-old, and it's causing you to land on the emotional scale, And you're hearing us today say to you that the reason that you're landing there because of this situation is because other things already have you sort of hanging around there. You can't deprive yourself of sleep and food and be in a good place. You can't feel demanded upon and be in a good feeling place. But it feels like a catch-22, like a no-win situation to you, because it's hard to break the cycle. You can't break away long enough to get a good night's sleep, and then you don't feel good, so you attract more. We want you to know the cycle that the two of you, the 2-year-old and you, are creating together is this. And it doesn't matter what started first. You're tense and overwhelmed and resentful and feeling guilty about feeling those things. So you've got split energy, which your newborn feels as well. So his discomfort perpetuates your discomfort perpetuates his discomfort, and on it goes. If you can find a way, and maybe these words will be reassuring enough for you, that you can just give yourself a break and stop calling yourself a bad mother. You didn't write it in words. And instead, call yourself an evolving being, a co-creative partner, someone who's fulfilling an intention with a 2-year-old co-creative partner. Understanding that together you intend to figure this out. And you will, and you are. Take it easy. We know that you have many segments that you didn't write about here, where you are feeling such love and appreciation. We know that happens too. Put more emphasis on those moments and be nicer to yourself when things that you think shouldn't be happening are happening, and it will get better for you. And again, we are certain that this conversation will evoke more conversations. And so we'll continue to co-create with all of you on this extremely important topic of parenting. Next question. I have heard you say a lot on YouTube that selfishness is really the only way to go. My idea has always been that a smaller sacrifice for me that is of big value to others is a good thing. Sometimes I really do not want or have time and energy to do that sacrifice or that work, but I do it anyway because my disadvantage will make things better for someone else. For example, with my children. I may feel really tired or want to do my own things, but a child needs or wants, mostly needs, they're really happy and independent. Needs or wants my help with homework or some other things. I never act as a martyr with sending signals as I would prefer to do something else. I raise my inner strength and say, yes, of course. Afterwards, I normally feel we have had a good time and I'm glad I did it. Such situations often take place with family and friends. And some periods there is no time left for me doing my own wanted things. And so I'm asking, are we supposed to do only things that we find really pleasuring? Or if not, when is it okay to do some sacrifices that are of big value to others? We would never say that it is not of value to help another. And we would also never say that it doesn't often feel good to do something that helps another. But there are some things that we want to help you sort out here, because it's not the activity or the action that you take that is important. It is how you are feeling when you take the action that matters. In other words, if you are feeling resentment, or if you are feeling overwhelmed when you take that action, even if you do say, yes, of course, since you have split energy within yourself, you're doing it, but you would rather not. Your words do not come across as effectively or as positively as you think that they might be. In other words, you're offering split energy. It is so much better to be certain that you want to do it before you do it. And by this we mean simply take a moment to make the decision that you're going to do it And then before you actually take action, line up with that. And if you're not able to line up with it, where you wholeheartedly feel good about it, then say something like, let me take a little time to think about this, because I don't want to help you when I'm not wholeheartedly focused with you. Now, this may sound awkward, and you may think that others will not hear it so well. And in the beginning, if they're used to you just jumping in and helping out, they may very well not take it so well. But it is so important, for the sake of your point of attraction, for you to know when you've got split energy and when you don't. For you to know when you're in alignment with source energy, which means you feel contentment, hopeful, optimistic, positive expectation, enthusiasm, passion, joy, knowledge, empowerment, all the way up the emotional scale. In other words, make sure you're somewhere between 7 all the way up to 1 before you take action with anyone. Or be real about it. I'm going to help you, but I have to let you know I'm not lined up with this, and so you're not going to get the best of me. You're going to get a willing part of me because I'm willing to help you, but you're not going to get the best of me or the all of me. This is such a good example to set with those close to you, especially your children. If it's family and friends, other situations in your life where they may not be even close to understanding what work you are doing or anything about the emotional scale, you may not want to be so bold as to say these words, but it's a good thing for you at least to acknowledge where you are when you take action. And we know for sure that if you take enough opportunities where you are being asked to do something and you don't quite feel like you're ready to, and you do the emotional scale work, that you will release enough of your resistance that those who don't even understand the work you're doing, who are friends and family and acquaintances and so forth, the law of attraction will not bring them to you under those conditions. They're coming to you when you don't feel like helping them, because you have so often not felt like helping them, but helped them anyway. So you've got this vibration going on, this vibration of reluctance or this vibration of split energy, which is a point of attraction. Let's place that somewhere on the emotional scale. It can be anywhere on the emotional scale, from contentment down. In other words, you could be pessimistic and still help. That's 9. Or frustrated and still help. That's 10. Impatient and still help. Irritated and still help. That's 10. You could be in a state of confusion or overwhelmment. You could be feeling stress and still help. You could be feeling disappointment and still help, or attempt to help. This is what we're saying, attempt to help. You could feel doubt and worry and blame and discouragement and anger and so forth, and still go through the motions, but you're not really helping, and you're giving them mixed signals, and you're causing more confusion in them. And we know from what we can feel for you that you're really wanting to clean up your vibration. We want to focus on that word, smaller sacrifice. It's always been my idea, you said, that a smaller sacrifice for you that is of big value to others is a good thing. And we see what you're getting at. But we've just got to tell you, anytime you feel like you're offering sacrifice, you've got split energy.